जी जनाब, ਜਦੋਂ मैं ਵੇਖਾਂਗਾ ਅਲਾਰਮਾਂ ਬਜਾ ਦਾਂਗਾ।
ਸਿਪਾਹੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਦੋ।
Hello Internet, welcome to Games Done Wrongish. Today we will be taking a look at the second two Xbox Games with Gold titles for February 2018. The titles are Crazy Taxi and Assassin's Creed Chronicles India. Let's get to it. Crazy Taxi was originally developed for the arcade and was later ported over to the console on the Dreamcast. I remember playing it back in those days on the Dreamcast, and when I saw it was going to be a Games with Gold title this month, I was pretty excited to be able to play it once again, after all these years. Unfortunately, I was disappointed. The game has not aged well. In fact, I cannot remember it being this bad. The physics are really bad, and the gameplay loop seems to be much tighter and unforgiving than I remembered. Speaking of the gameplay loop, your goal is to collect and deliver passengers to their destination as fast as you can. You also earn bonus money for doing stunts and jumps along the way. That is it. You have a set amount of time at the start, which is increased by the time allowed for each fare. If you beat the time, you will have time to spare to get a new passenger and continue on. Eventually the timer will expire and it will be game over. The game is an arcade title, so it only has 200 game score available spread over 12 achievements. Overall, this is not worth the download in my opinion. It was not bad back in 2000 I suppose, but these days it resembles more of an awful mess than a game. I honestly think you would be better off playing Roundabout, and I never thought I would ever mutter those words. Assassin's Creed Chronicles India is one of 3 mini Assassin's Creed games created by Ubisoft. These games are more of a 2.5D platform affair rather than the massive open world games Assassin's Creed is most famous for. Stealth is one of your greatest assets in these games, something I am not very good at, so for me these games always boil down to trial and error. As they are a smaller 2D type of game, this is okay, as loading back in from a fail is almost instant, so you can try over and over as the levels become more difficult and you don't realise it as much as you are not stuck in loading screens, realising that you failed again. Instead you are right back in trying again. You gain a higher score and rating the stealthier you can be, so making use of every post, doorway and ledge is the best idea, but not always essential. As I am not great at stealth, I do try to take out as many enemies as I can in an area, just to make it easier to move around without them. There are many ways to silently take down enemies, such as simply creeping up behind them and taking them out, or grabbing them from the shadows of the doorways. If you do get into a real combat brawl, you have a number of offensive and defensive tactics at your disposal. You have light and heavy attacks with X and Y, while being able to block, dodge and dash with B and A. The combat feels pretty fluid, however most of the time I was trying to get through a level without being detected, so whenever I was detected I would just let myself get killed so that I could load the last checkpoint and try again. The story in the game is nothing more than assassinating the bad guys to prevent them from doing something bad. However, the game is very colourful and vibrant whilst doing this. There are 18 achievements to collect from this title for a total of 1000 gamer score. Overall, these mini Assassin's Creed games are not bad for what they are. I feel they would have been more suited to handheld devices such as a Nintendo 3DS or PlayStation Vita, however if they were, I may never have played them. I do feel they were probably initially designed for those types of platforms, but as the handheld console market does not seem to be as lively as it once were, they must have decided to release them as full console releases instead. They are never going to replace your main games, however if they look like the type of game you may be interested in, then give this one a go. While it's free with your Games with Gold subscription, you may really enjoy it. That wraps up this month's Games with Gold overviews for Games Done Wrongish. This is probably the shortest episode I have ever done, but to be fair I found there was not much to say about these two titles that would not be immediately obvious when you first take a look at them. I also feel this was a pretty weak second half of this month, so I'm hoping there is something better available for us next month. Please join me again then when we will take a look. If you like this video, please consider watching another. 2 suggestions will be on screen now. Also, if you have not subscribed already, please do so by clicking the icon in the middle of this screen. Every view and subscription will go a long way to helping the channel grow, and in turn will result in more content for you. Thank you, and until the next time, goodbye.